This is a two-part series over my entire experience making the Candle on the Water cover. So this is going to be part one. It's going to cover voice, which is a little out of order since I did voice first, or second, I mean. But part two is going to be piano. So, back in fall of last year, 2020, I was trying to figure out what song is going to be my first song that I sing, for the channel. Since I want to be a singer now, I gotta sing to something at some point, right? So I was trying to decide what the first song was going to be that I sing to. So um, the first idea I had was Over the Rainbow because it was a song I had played recently in one of my learning books. And I was like, oh, okay, I know this song. It's not that bad, and I can, the sheet music in the learning book is I'm sure it's simplified, but I could play that, and I could play it while singing too if I wanted to. So that'd be great because I was trying to look for a song that I could sing with and play with, play to at the same time. So I started practicing the singing for that one, and then I think if I remember right, it was on the trouble smelled like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. So that section there, up there, that was really hard because like it's higher, but it's also like you gotta be louder, but you gotta do it right because it's kind of like you have to kind of sing it. I want to call it a pretty song. It's like a pretty song. You have to sing it kind of pretty, but also well, too. And those two things are hard to do with pretty songs. So I was having a lot of trouble with it. It'd been forever since my singing lessons, and I had been a long time since I had sang a song like for real. So I decided that one was probably too hard to be my first song that I'm singing for real. So I moved on. I have a bunch of sheet music that I've never touched in years because I was never good enough to play them. And I decided to look through them. And then I found Candle on the Water from the movie Pete's Dragon, which I've never seen. But I know the song because we sang it in middle school in chorus. And I liked the song there. And for the first time, when I was looking at the sheet music, I was like, wow, the piano actually looks possible. And I'll just give a glance at it here. So there's page one. If you're a complete noob piano player, this is gonna look impossible because this song has always looked impossible to me. It's like way over my head. But for the first time, I was like, wow, this this actually looks doable. Like it's not easy, but it looks like I could actually play it if I practice. And then page two is it doesn't look a whole lot different challenge wise. Page three, on the other hand, would be a little more iffy, in this section here, but the rest of the song, it looked not bad. It looked like something, like I said, the first time I liked it, it looked like a doable song to play. So I was like, all right, that's my song. We picked it. That was October 11th, 2020. So I didn't start practicing singing the song until May 2021. I didn't plan for my brother to come to me randomly and be like, hey, do you want to do a song together? And then that actually ended up being the first song that I sang with the Blue Ridge Mountains cover. That was not planned. But so I was working on that song and I was putting more focus on that one, so I didn't start this one till this year. I think it was February, but that was the piano. I started the singing later. It was in May. So on May 3rd, this is like when I started practicing the song. I went, oh, why did I decide on this song? I'm not good at these types of songs. These types, by these types I mean pretty songs. This is very much a pretty song. And I just, I like singing this song, I do, but I would not say that I'm good at these types of songs. So it was a challenge. Another challenge is, like I said, I sang this in chorus in middle school, and if you watched my Blue Ridge Mountain experience video for The Voice, I believe I mentioned in there that I was an alto. And when you're an alto, so the soprano typically sings the melody. I think the tenor tends to sing the melody out of the guys, and then the bass and the alto, they'll sometimes sing the melody, but a lot of times, even if you are singing the melody, sometimes you're singing it in harmony with the melody instead of the actual melody notes, and then you're singing extra parts and a bunch of random junk, right? So you're not really singing the song most of the time. So I remember singing this song lower than the movie sings it, than the girl sings it in the movie. Not that this song is high. I mean, look at it. It's really, we're just looking at the first page, which is lower than the second page, but this is just middle C. Sure, it goes up to G and A, but it's not that bad. And this one starts on F. You got pull, that's up at A. I think that might be the highest note in the whole song is an A. It's really not that bad. So, but when I have this thought in my head and how I've been singing it forever, lower than this is going to feel very high. So that was like my first challenge in singing the song, was just getting used to how high it felt. So high. So I tried to look up online SATB, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, chorus, like sheet music, and for this song, and everything I found was just two parts. It was I think they said alto, bass, so the soprano and alto, I guess, sang together, and the bass and soprano sang, or bass and tenor sang together. I could not find a 4-part sheet music for this, so maybe I'm crazy that I sang it lower. I don't know. I can't prove it. I don't have the sheet music from middle school. So that was fun getting past that. Looks like it took me 2 weeks until May 14th before the song stopped feeling high. It just felt normal then. 2 weeks of singing it before it started feeling normal. So another problem I ran into, so I had been practicing piano before the singing, and then I switched to singing, and then I went back to the piano. So the reason I did that is I was having a little dilemma on how to do the voice with the piano. So if you look at the sheet music, you'll see that here's the singing part, and if you look at the right hand on the piano, the treble clef, it's the exact same notes as the singing. It does this through the whole song. The whole song, the right hand plays the singing. You saw the extra notes in there that it adds in, but it plays the voice part with it. Which, you know, when you listen to the movie version, I don't think that's happening, you know, so I think this is a simplified version of it, which is fine, because I don't think I could play any harder. I'm not that good at piano. But, you know, when it's playing every single note that I'm singing, it's not a true accompaniment. So if it's not a true accompaniment, then that means, does that mean that I have to sing it the same way that I'm playing it, or it's going to sound weird? I don't know the answer to that, but that's kind of a problem, because another thing I remember about singing this song in, you know, way back when I was a kid, which I also can't prove, is I didn't sing it exactly how they sing it in the movie. If let's see, let's get some examples here. Here we go. Second page. You know, I throw a bunch of eighth notes in there, a bunch of irregular beats. So it's written, a cold and friendless tide has found you. Well, instead, I kind of shove these two together. A cold and friendless tide has found you. You see? So it's not even when I'm singing it. And I do this all over the song, because that's how I remember the song going. Again, can't prove it. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I remember the song going. I don't feel like I would make that up everywhere. And maybe that was just the alto part. I don't know. But, so it's kind of a problem if I'm playing it not how I'm singing it. So that's when I had decided that I should probably record the singing first. And that way I could, you know, sing it how I want, and then I'll come back and I'll play the piano to how I sing it. And this is the second, both covers I've done now, I've concluded that I should have been looking at the voice as something to record first. And I don't know if you're supposed to record the voice first, but in both of these examples, you know, this one I did, but, you know, I kind of wished I had thought about that in the first one too, if you listen to the Blue Ridge Mountains voice video. So maybe I should just record the voice first in the future. I don't know. Let's see. So okay, so 5:14, whenever I said that it took 2 weeks for the song to stop feeling high, or it just felt normal now, I had also made a decision to not sing the extra parts. So another thing in chorus. So on top of being an alto and singing, having extra parts in the song to sing that aren't part of just like the normal song that you would hear in the movie, you know, the alto part tends to have just extra stuff thrown in, and you sing things at different times, you throw in extra words in places. Well, on top of that, I tended to listen to the other voice parts, and if there were extra parts thrown in outside of me singing, I would memorize them and add them in. Like if I'm just singing it at home by myself, I would add those into my singing. So I'd have the alto part in my head on top of some other random extra parts from like tenor or soprano or bass thrown in there too, because it was fun. I liked singing all the different parts. So originally I was really excited about the song. I was like, oh, I like this song, these extra parts, and I could, you know, I think I'm gonna sing the extra parts. You know, that would be fun. It would be cool. It'd be weird, but you know, whatever, right? Why does it matter? And then by the time I'm 2 weeks into singing it, I had decided that maybe it's best I just don't sing the extra parts. So if you're curious, I'm gonna tell you what the extra parts are. So Um, let's see, where does the first one come in? Ah, okay, here, second page. So, on second page, we have, I'll paint a ray of hope around you, circling in the air, lighted by a prayer, and it just holds on out forever. Okay, so in chorus, the altos sang this part, and the sopranos may have sang it with us higher. I don't remember, but what I do remember is that the sopranos actually sang an extra part here. So while I was holding out the lighted by a prayer, the sopranos went, yes, by a prayer. So that was an extra part. And then the other ones are toward the end of the song. So here, look for me reaching out to show as sure as rivers flow, sure as they flow. I think maybe that was the bass. Could have been the tenor. I don't really remember. I just remember it was an extra part that I like to sing. And then the other ones, I think it was the soprano singing this, and then we would sing the altos. We would sing the extra part. So, I'll never let you go, never let you go. I'll never let you go, never let you go. I'll never let you go. I'll be your candle on the water. So that was the alto extra parts in there. So I really wanted to sing those parts because, you know, like I said, they're fun, but I'm an alto, so those were my parts. I wanted to sing them. But yeah, like I said, 2 weeks into it, I was like, yeah, maybe I should just sing it without the extra parts. We'll keep it normal. Nice and boring. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh yeah, I decided not to sing the extra parts, but I thought, okay, well, it could be cool to piano them in. So that was still up in the air at that time, but that didn't actually happen. I ended up just deciding to not bother. The piano was hard enough as it was. I think I just wanted it done by that point. I was like, they're just not going to be in there. But you heard them, so you know that, if I'm not crazy, those parts existed. And some sheet music out there. So what is this? Like a week later, on May 21st, I got my first acceptable recording. It says I did 3 takes, and they were all like not terrible, and first acceptable recording. But that doesn't mean it was good enough to post. It was just acceptable. But it looks like I spent probably another week or 2 trying to get it better. So one of the ways I was trying to get it better was just making some notes better or be hit. So I was singing, so when I was recording myself sing, I was singing with the girl in the movie, the real song. But she, like I said before, I got all this like irregular like eighth note stuff that I throw in there. So I don't sing it the same way she does. So I kind of have her lower and in the background, but she's there just to, I don't know, I guess keep me on track better or something, and try to help me make sure I hit notes or whatever. So, but it was kind of hard to sing with her at the same time. I haven't been in chorus in so long. It was hard to sing different than her with her singing at the same time. So there were some words I had trouble with getting to sound good, and like, so they were all vowels. So whenever you sing your vowels wide, like clouds, ow, that's like a wide kind of sound for clouds. And sometimes it can be hard to hit a note. Like even if the note isn't hard to hit itself, if you sing the vowel wide, it'll make it harder to hit the note, or it'll sound like you're not hitting the note because you're singing it weird. And it just, I had this happen in the final recording. But anyway, so clouds was one of, I don't have to point it out to you, but clouds was one of those words. So instead of clouds, it should be like clouds, like kind of like put your, they always tell you to like sing like this. And they have a point, but I don't know, it seems like whenever I was in chorus, when I tell you that, they kind of like fail to tell you why as much, like what the goal is for doing that. I really should grab this piece of paper back here. One moment. So I got this in my singing lessons, and it's actually really good. So where would ow be? So like clouds, I guess, would kind of be like clouds. So when you have a verb like this with this vowel, you should narrow it down to low. So instead of law, you would use like an O sound and go law. It sounds weird when you say it, but when you sing it, it doesn't sound weird. So clouds is kind of the same way. So instead of like cloud or clouds, it'd be like clouds. Kind of like that. Or like instead of like candle, you say candle. You kind of like narrow the vowel a little bit. And this the same thing with like bright. You would say like, which one is this one? Like instead of like bright, it would be like bright. So that's the goal. You kind of like follow this little cheat sheet and try to narrow down the vowels to make them, actually hitting the notes and it sounds good and stuff like that. So I practiced a lot just trying to get those words like the clouds, the candle, the word bright, things like that. I had to work a lot on those. Even the word prayer sounded weird when I sang it. There was a lot of them. So I spent a lot of time working on that. And then I had a hard time singing this part. This was probably the worst part of the whole song to sing with the real song, the pull you down. So don't let the stormy darkness pull you down. So that's like the real song version. And then how I did it was, don't let the stormy darkness pull you down. So it's like, pull you down. So you're singing down at the same note as you. And then the second note for down is at the word down. That was so hard to sing with the real song. I had a lot of trouble with that, and I think I got it. It was hard to tell. When I got this thing finally recorded, it looks like, like I said, it looks like I went back to the piano around the second week of June. So, a good at least 4 weeks of practicing singing this song. When I finally got recorded, I was told by multiple people that I was off in a couple spots in the singing. So You know, when I was listening to the recording before I posted it, you know, I was really stuck on the word bright because I felt like it's like every wave is warm and bright, I think it says. And I just, oh man, I'm like, is bright, am I hitting the right note? Like, am I just slightly off? I had a really hard time telling. And the pull you down is another part. Like, there were some recordings I did where I knew I missed it. And I'd have to go back and, you know, analyze that recording I posted to figure out which parts I had off. But whatever. Another thing I worked on in that week or two was, a couple weeks, was to try and put a little bit of feeling into the song. You know, I tried. Like I said, this isn't really my style of song. I don't feel like I'm very good at pretty songs, but I did try to put some feeling in there. I was told by at least one person that it didn't show at all. Great. I'm so glad I worked on it and it fell flat. But I know that I tried. I did try. So, oh well. I had to move on at some point, so whatever. And yeah, I think that calls it. We're good for the voice part. So next part is going to cover the piano.